According to kellybluebook.org, the median price of a truck is 59 grand. To put that into perspective, you can get a higher end car. Not a luxury vehicle per se, but a nice higher end car like a Nissan Rogue that has some luxury items like Bluetooth radio, backup cameras, things like that. You can get that for 33 grand. Not to mention, if you were to get two nice used cars for 59 grand, you could have money left over, meaning that for one truck, you could get two very nice used cars. This kind of made me ponder. Both of my grandfathers, who were by no means wealthy, they were just in the middle class, both of them had pickup trucks. These were not your gigantic, big-ass trucks. These were smaller, mid-sized pickups. I have vivid memories of scrunching into the back, and not the back meaning the truck bed, but behind the passenger side and the driver's side. For those of you that have ridden in a big truck, not a big truck, but an old truck, you know what I'm saying, right? Those older trucks, like those Toyota trucks, the old Ford, the old Chevys, you would have to scrunch into the back. You were lucky if you could fit two adults inside of that thing. It wasn't meant to transport a family of 5. It was meant to transport 2 people. You could have some cargo in the back, and in the truck bed, you were hauling something. It was primarily a utility vehicle. A utility is something that is used for a commercial purpose. This is evident in who their advertising base is, or was, using the past tense term. I was watching a 1980s Chevy commercial. In the background, you heard the old country music. It sounded like Eastbound and Down, little banjo music. Do 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 do. And the guy was talking about how tough the truck was. Tough as nails, rugged. It's good for hauling. It's good in the dirt. It's good off-road, blah, blah, blah. Primarily people who had trucks in the 80s, the 70s, and before that, they used them for their intended purpose. They used them to haul things on the farm, to transport furniture, to transport their boats. They actually used it for its intended purpose. There was a commercial I saw a couple days ago of a guy with a top hat and a suit and a tie who got into his truck, and in his truck you had seat warmers. You had heated steering wheels. You had testicle massagers. You had Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, new leather, cameras that help you back out, and you could transport 5 people inside of it. This guy drives, and then he gets out of his truck. You see his friends who have wine and cheese in their suits and their suspenders. He gets out and they're just in awe about his truck. That's because trucks are now a luxury item instead of a utility. They always say fully loaded. What does fully loaded mean? That means you're going to have not only a full-size truck, they don't sell the mid-size trucks anymore. It's going to have testicle massagers, heated steering wheels, all these luxuries. Trucks are now a luxury vehicle instead of a utility vehicle. The old rugged pickup truck is a thing of the past. I was just curious. I don't want a truck. I don't have any use for one. I don't live on a farm, and I don't have a business where I have to transport a lot of stuff. You can't find just a basic truck without all of that stuff in it that is new. That's because you have something called the 1964 chicken tax. The 1964 chicken tax was an executive order signed by Lyndon B. Johnson. Essentially, what happened, the United States produced tons of chicken. They had so much chicken that they were the number one exporter of chicken. They ended up flooding the market of countries in Europe, like Germany, France, Britain. In retaliation, these countries put a 50% tax or tariff on chicken from the United States. In retaliation, Lyndon Johnson put a 25% tariff on foreign imports, potatoes, starch, other things. But most importantly, foreign imported vehicles. That's why if you want to get a truck from a company that is not in the US, it's not economical because of the gigantic 25% tariff. Now, the tariff on potatoes and other food items, it's not around anymore, but we still have that 25% tax on foreign trucks. They still make in other countries, like Japan, the old style trucks without testicle massagers and without padded seats and Bluetooth radio and all this other stuff you don't need. But you can't buy them because of the tariff. Essentially, the U.S. trucking companies have a monopoly on the truck market. We all know that competition is the key to making better products and more affordability. However, if one company is able to control a vast market, Ford, Chevy, they can pretty much set the parameters and the prices that they want because you have no other options. And that's another reason that trucks are so expensive. These trucks can basically do it all, though. They're amazing engineering, don't get me wrong. Not only can they warm your asshole, but they can also lug gigantic boats, furniture sets, things like that. Most of them have over 400 horsepower, meaning that it's stronger in terms of leverage when it's pulling things than 400 horses. It can go over rough terrain, mountains, dirt. It's a do-all vehicle. But with all of that comes a sturdy price. Not to mention gas mileage. Your average truck is only going to get 14, 15 miles per gallon. With prices at record levels, gasoline prices, who wants to drive around a truck around town with those exorbitant prices? If you want a truck, go for it. If you want to pay that exorbitant amount. What gets me is these people, they have trucks which have these big, gigantic beds, and they don't want to use them. What's the point of having a truck if you're not going to use it to haul things? I'm not saying you have to haul a big, giant thing of chicken shit, but hauling things like furniture, refrigerators, things like that. You think if you had a truck like that, you would use it to haul stuff. But you have these people that they want to make out with their trucks. They're like, don't get anything on my truck. It's like, why are you paying for a truck that exorbitant price and you're not using it to haul stuff? I remember this has been over 5 years ago when I used to work at Walmart. I used to be the cart person. And when you're the cart person, you have to help people carry out large items like furniture, chairs, treadmills, things like that. There was this guy one time, I remember, this was really late at night. back when Walmart used to be open 24 hours. This guy had a gigantic truck. He ordered a furniture set that was already assembled. You have an assembly area in Walmart. Well, you used to. I don't know if you still do. This was a furniture set for outside. I had a pallet jack and I was moving it to his truck. As I was about to remove it, I told him to put the bed down. We're going to have to put it in the back. And he looked at me. He's like, we're not putting it back there. He's like, I don't want to scratch my truck. According to Walmart policy, the customer's always right. So spending 60 grand on a big ass truck for the space and being afraid to scratch it up, I guess is okay. Each to their own. It's his property. He can do what he likes. We ended up having to take out the front seat, the passenger seat, just so he could fit that thing in there. And it was all the way tied to the back with bungee cords, and you couldn't even see to back up. It's like, you're going to do all that just so you don't scratch your precious truck. But now they're pampered and loved and made out with. They're not your tough, rugged old truck anymore. They're now a luxury vehicle for the wine and cheese crowd with the bourgeoisie. I don't see this changing as long as Ford and Chevy have a monopoly on the trucking industry. Why would they want to go back to making these mid-sized trucks that aren't fully loaded? I don't see the chicken tax being repealed anytime soon either, because it's retaliation for these other countries. And unless they're willing to say, we're going to let you flood the foreign market with chicken, we're going to continue to do the same thing with the pickup truck. But that's just a couple of thoughts that I had. Why you no longer have the affordable American pickup truck anymore.